So we're just doing some testing on some air boxes. For the good guys down at Patrol Doctor. Now, he's come in with 3 different air boxes that we're going to be testing. And now, it's really important when you're testing things that everything is set up to be exactly the same every time you run it up. So, Rich, can you just take me through what you're doing to keep it consistent?
A lot of variables in a dyno cell, even though they're about as controlled as an environment as what you'll get. But what I like to do is set it up so that I'm monitoring things like air temp, coolant temp, throttle position, things like that, so that I can begin each power run, as you like to call it, at the same sort of coolant temp, air temp. Basically gives you more of an accurate and constant figure, and and it all correlates the same. So you can't really argue that the engine was hotter between this run. Prepared to take the time to let the engine coolant temp return to where it was on the previous run. Same with the air temps. And that really shows when you get consistent dyno runs run after run. It's pretty easy to degrade power through heat soak and things like that. But when you can accurately see, after doing 3 or 4 dyno runs that they draw over the top of themselves, you know that you're pretty much spot on with your variables.
Perfect, and this is obviously the graph here. What I'll do is I'll pop it up, we'll print it up, and then we can go through everything. Okay, Richard, I saw a bunch of squiggly lines on the screen. You've obviously ran up the 200 series with all 3 air boxes.
I have.
Can you explain this for me, please?
Sure. Okay, so let's just focus on power to start with.
Yep.
Let's go with Steve's airbox.
Yep.
Which is the red line.
Yep.
Got the other aftermarket airbox, which is the green line.
Yep.
Standard airbox, which is the blue line. So specifically talking about power, you can see that there was about 4 kilowatts to be had just in changing the airbox, but it's especially noticeable probably around here, about that 3,500 RPM mark, where you really do sort of find that 5-6 kilowatt difference there.
And when you say difference, you're talking about between this blue one here being standard and then the Patrol Doctor and then obviously the other airbox.
Correct. So, right up, in that mid-range, you can really notice the difference there. All right, what you can see here, again, Patrol Doctor is red, aftermarket airbox is green. This dotted line here is a scaling of AFR. So obviously the lower it is, the richer it is. The blue is the standard airbox. So you can see that even though our grams per second were pretty much on par, you can see there is actually a really big difference in the AFR between the Patrol Doctor airbox, the aftermarket airbox, and the standard airbox. So the standard airbox is obviously showing a lot richer down here, like we're nudging towards 18-1, whether the Patrol Doctor airbox is up here towards 19-1, meaning that there's an increase in air volume because the amount of air entering the engine is more than what it is on a standard airbox.
So what does that mean?
As far as standard goes, it simply means a few things. Engine temperature, combustion temperatures will be cooler. The increase in airflow means that the engine will be more responsive. Boost response will be more responsive as well. The ability to add, subtract, and adjust the fuel accordingly to the airflow.
Yeah, g'day guys, I'm Steve from Patrol Doctor. Come up with this fabricated type airbox. This particular one runs one of the new nano fibre filters from Ryco, which is a new release of theirs. That filter's at 4 microns and runs 99.99% efficiency. So very good filter. Fabricated box, no movement in the box. So the top and the bottom half of the box, you can't separate them or move them. So no matter what conditions you're in, nothing will ever bypass that seal. So between the aftermarket filter inside, the fabricated box with the 100% sealed, you're pretty much, you're watertight, you're dust tight, you can use in all conditions. Bolts into factory positions, there's no drilling or anything like that required. Comes with the MAF housing tube, MAF goes straight in, all the bolts are supplied for that, and no tuning required. You can just direct bolt it in. They do make more power. Any snorkel can be fitted to, whether you got the TJM, you know, the aftermarket Safari Armax type stainless. The position of the intake is in the same position as what it would be from a factory box. So any snorkel's not a problem either. So we said it has got the nano type filter in it. That is a direct 200 series fit filter. So if you were out in Cape York or somewhere remote where things are hard to get, you can go to any Repco, Burson's, Super Cheap Auto. You can use just a normal Ryco type filter, or you can, you know, go to Toyota and use a genuine filter. Any 200 series filter will fit directly into this box, so you're not sort of stuck, you know, with only the one particular filter that can be used in this particular box. You're pretty well covered there. This particular one ISO tested with Ryco Australia down at their Altona plant, so it has passed all its tests. And yeah, if you want to take it out into any conditions, whether you're out in the desert or you want to drive through the rivers and through the water, you know, this is the kit for you. Like it's 100% sealed.
Yeah, perfect.
It's got a drain valve in the bottom for any water that does happen to come down the snorkel, which it can come down snorkels, especially if it's heavy rain.
No worries. Now, do you know if there's anything else on the Australian market that has been ISO tested, or is this the only one?
As far as I know, we're the only ones that go to the trouble of having them tested properly to make sure they do flow properly, make sure they don't upset tuning, and they exceed the factory one by a certain percent, and to make them worthwhile, and to be able to put them into these late model cars without having any problems or issues with the customer and not having to tune them. They can just be directly bolted in. 200
series Air Box. That's the rundown. That's the testing. That's all the buy points. I can tell you right now, having it ISO tested, Australian made, the fact that you can get, you know, obviously it comes with this high flow air filter, but if you're in a bother, you can go anywhere and get a 200 series air filter. 100%, this is the one that would be the pick of the bunch for me. So yeah, if you are considering getting a high flow air box, this is the one that you want.